Hey everyone, good evening. I am Brent Passmore, one of your lovely, beautiful guest hosts for this evening's edition of Higher Ed Live. Joining me is my friend, Carrie.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, Thursday at 7 Eastern on higheredlive.com. You can catch tonight's conversation on Twitter using the Higher Ed Live hashtag, and make sure that you follow us. It's We Are Team BC. Outside of hosting tonight, I am the Director of New Media at Arkansas Tech University. I oversee the university's news website. I handle social media, video, all sorts of kind of fun things.
Excuse me, my phone started blowing up. I'm sorry. I'm currently the Director of Web Development at the University of Central Arkansas. If you need web, social, I like to say that I'm the guy you need to know when you need to know a guy. Carrie and I both earned our degrees in journalism, mass communications. We spent a lot of our time in our college days doing video, news, hosted a music video show. And while we don't focus on video each day in our work, it's actually our favorite thing and our fun part of our job. So we thought we'd like to take a moment here to talk about video during tonight's show. Isn't that right?
You got it.
Awesome. We're both from small shops, armies of 1.5, 2, and sometimes we function as an army of 1. And
all right. So we're going to basically take tonight's show and divide that up into 3 parts. At first, we're going to talk through video on a budget, and so that idea there that if you don't have a lot of fun, some great things that you can do and some low-cost options for you to make sure that your video looks great. Then on the second part, we're going to have a panel of some fantastic students and graduate students that we're going to talk with about how they are helping offices and communication offices do video. So we're going to talk to those folks, and then last we're going to talk about some success stories that we've had, and we'd love to hear yours too. So if you've got something to add to the conversation, make sure you jump in on Twitter as well.
All right, before we do all of that, let's pay the bills. Recognize the folk that make Higher Ed Live possible.
Okay, so up first, Omni Update. They're the leading web content management system provider for higher education. We actually use them at my institution. Through their CMS OU campus, it's secure and scalable with great tools and features, deployment flexibility, and an awesome user community. So you can watch Omni Update's webcast on accessibility and learn how their channel islands made their site 98% compliant with limited resources. There's some great information out there.
Awesome. Also, Higher Ed Live is sponsored by Uversity. That's formerly Integral, the creators of the Schools app, a private Facebook community to boost enrollment and retention. Check out their blog, Uversity Roundtable, for posts on admission marketing, student engagement, and social media in higher education. We're tweeting the link to the blog right now. This month, M. Stoner, a marketing communications agency focused on higher ed web strategy and development since 2001, is presenting an advanced weekly analytics webinar. This professional development opportunity is perfect for marketing and communications managers and directors who want to learn how analytics can inform their online strategies, and for senior communications professionals, directors, and vice presidents who want to strengthen their understanding of Google Analytics. We're tweeting out the link right now where you can learn more and how to register.
Very, very cool stuff out there. So, you ready for the real part? Let's get started.
Let's do it.
At first, we're talking video on a budget. Brent and I both do video part-time in our institutions because it is something we love, and we think video can be one of the best ways to tell a story. So when we were talking about video tonight, it's something that I got excited about, and when Brent and I first found out we were doing this, I've just been probably bugging him to death about all of these great ideas and wonderful thought processes and things that I wanted to talk about. So for part 1, we're going to talk about some equipment and options out there that are low cost but still allow you to produce quality work. Should we get into confession?
Let's do it.
Okay, so confession time. Brent and I both have professional grade cameras that we do use in our offices. We haven't always had that, but wanted to give you some options to talk about those types of things and then some other less.
Thing like this?
Yeah,
let's do it. So the cameras that we use, we're partial to a JVC. It's the GHYM 150U. It's a great mid-range camera. It has an XLR for quality audio. We do have wireless mics that we use with it. If you want to shoot in manual, you can use it. This camera gives you full aperture, shutter quality.
My favorite part about this camera is the fact that it shoots on an SD card. So it makes it really fast, quick, and easy when you're going from event to dump those clips to come back to them later. It's wonderful to be able to separate if you have back-to-back events. Instead of having to dump all of that into one file, you can pull out events for part A and part B. I previously had a Panasonic and didn't have the option for that. And let me just tell you, it makes a big difference. The price point on that camera comes in about $2,000, so pretty reasonable in terms of looking at something.
And that's actually why we looked at this camera. Like she said, she had the Panasonic, and we were looking at getting one here at my institution. And for me, it was, so I wanted something that should I get out and I run out of card space, that I could go to anywhere, to Walgreens, to Best Buy, to Walmart, and be able to get some sort of card to capture video. So we both looked, overthought, and came up with the idea of trying out the previous version of this camera. It was called the 100. Overall, it's worked pretty well for us. The next thing we want to talk about is sound quality. I held up the lav earlier, whether you've got this or a mic. The neat thing about sound, and from the quality sound is important. Sound isn't something that you can throw B-roll over, when you're editing in post. Up until that, what are we talking about here? Oh, that's you. You're spoiled. Sorry, I jumped down. We're still talking about the sound. For around $20, you can get a lav that runs off of the you can actually just plug in, or you can spend obviously a lot more money to get something like wireless.
All right. Lighting is another big one that you've got to think about when you're trying to shoot video. Okay, really. Woo. Up until recently, we purchased lighting equipment for our university.
Tweet me if I look pretty.
Seriously. But we purchased lighting equipment, and it was something that we never had the option to have before. And it has really stepped up our product and made it look fantastic. I am spoiled. Good confession. I love it. I use it. It makes a difference. But up until that, I spent a lot of time the past 4 years, in fact, doing lighting on a budget. The first thing that I always tried to do is shoot outdoors. Especially in Arkansas, we have beautiful, beautiful falls, beautiful springs. So I would try to take advantage of that and work outdoors when I didn't have to have a lot of light. By shooting early in the morning or late in the evening, I could work around any kind of shadows or issues there. And so that was a big, big way that I could cut costs in terms of doing lighting. I purchased an LED light kit, these types of kits that Brent was blinding me with earlier. I checked around, and you can see those for as little as about $30. You can also spend several hundred. The idea there is that if you're interviewing a person, it's a great way to get enough light onto that person to make a good shot. It's not going to work in a large environment where you're trying to light on a large scale, but on those small settings, it's perfect. It's a great option. We've got one in our office that we can divide out amongst us all to take.
And actually, speaking of your office, one of our guests tonight is actually in your studio. So maybe you can give us a tool.
Maybe.
Video editing, obviously you capture video, you light it, you have great sound. Then you have to pull all that information together. And for video editing software, I typically use Final Cut Pro. He's in the Adobe camp, so we go back and forth. Final Cut Pro is the, as long as the product looks good, that's all.
That's true.
In the App Store, Final Cut Pro, the latest version of it is about $300. Premiere, you have the Creative Cloud option for $20 a month. Either way, on a budget, those costs can be hard to swallow. Some lower cost options, maybe some scaled down versions of the product. Adobe offers Premiere Elements. It's $99, and then of course, if you're buying a new Mac, or if you have a Mac, you can get iMovie. $15 if you have to purchase the software. I think usually it comes pre-installed. Those are great for doing the basics, trimming clips, adjusting volume, adding some text. Not going to do a lot, but they'll do the basics, and you can get a good product out there.
That's what we started out as. We started on an Elements version because we just didn't have the funds, and we were able to go back later and get those funds to be able to do more. And so if you're looking and you're thinking, okay, so we've already spent $2,000 on the camera, we've already spent several hundred on software, and you think that we are crazy, we have another option that is less money. You ready to show them?
Let's do it.
Okay, are we going to show them? This right here. It's your iPhone.
Say what?
I know. we talk, I have the 5C I purchased.
It's good on campus.
Absolutely. We talk about iPhones because that's what we have. They shoot full 1080 video, so the same resolution that $2,000 camera shoots in is available if you go with the 4S route for free. So pretty good little buy, pretty good way to be able to do a little bit more with less. If you're thinking, okay, I don't need a phone, then there's also the iPod, an option that does the same thing.
You know, earlier this year, I actually purchased the awesome Nokia Lumia 1020. That's the yellow phone you've probably seen ads for with the 41 megapixel camera. It's fantastic. I love it. The video is beautiful. The pictures are just lovely. It's a little slow from time to time because it's saving that fantastic, huge image. But the one drawback I had with it is that I couldn't edit video. And so I guess the moral of that story is it's sold today on eBay. And I made enough to cover the cost of this little phone here, plus got to enjoy and play with the Windows side of things for a month.
So if you're thinking of some sort of options about what to do on your phone and you think that we're crazy saying, oh, just shoot and edit video on your phone, B and I had this same fight in, what, back in 2010? 2010. Yes. He suggested this, and we got into, I would say, words at a Starbucks coffee shop. There were people around us that looked at us like we were crazy, but we literally had this, you know.
Called me.
Yeah, we were crazy. And we had this fight about it. And
only it wasn't free.
I decided that the only way to shut him up was to try it. And so I put together my very first video, shot it, edited it on my iPhone at a basketball game. And that was kind of honestly my aha moment, because I figured out,
did it say she said I wasn't pretty?
I figured out that if you can work out some of these potential issues, you could have a really great product and a really expensive product. And so that was
what she's trying to say to everyone out there in internet land is I was right.
No, you were not right.
I was right.
No, what I said is that you had potential, that this had a potential.
Same. Whatever. The thing is that you have to know that this by itself, the phone has its limits. You're going to have situations where you have issues with natural sound and you finding good lighting. So you can add a few simple gadgets, cheap gadgets usually, and use quality apps to enhance your product.
You know,
I was right.
Whatever. So we are both iPhone users, so we're going to talk what we know. If you are an Android or a Windows phone user and you're out there watching tonight, make sure that you hop in and add to the conversation. We'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on this as well. So let us know what you like, what you're using. For video, I shoot with the Filmic Pro app. It is 99 cents in the App Store. The thing that I like about it is it does a couple of things. One, it turns the light on my phone into a light for my shot. So when I'm talking to that person, I can add some light in. Yes, it gives me that beautiful light. I also like that it has focus lock, so that if you've ever seen an iPhone video before, sometimes it'll try to do that little kitschy move where it can't figure out what the focus is. And this gets around that because you can tell your phone what to focus in. And so then it doesn't worry about something in the background that's happening because you've been able to lock in what that focus is. And then I also like that I can white balance, which, you know, I'm a huge proponent of on a traditional camera. Every time you go out, white balance that shot to make sure you get something great. And this gives you that same opportunity. So it has a lot of those pro features that I was looking for. And at 99 cents, it was okay to just try it out and see if it was worthwhile.
That's cool. While you're continuing to tell everyone out there how I'm right, talk about how you edit on your phone.
Absolutely. I edit using iMovie. I paid $5 for it in the App Store, and it does a lot of the basic things. You know, adding VO to an interview, adding in an audio bed, trimming clips, adding titles, doing some of those kind of things. It's perfect. It's pretty inexpensive, and so I really like that about it as well. It's probably the best thing out there. There's some additional options if you're on an iPad, but I think that's the best thing I've run across to give me the control that I want.
And it's now free with new 5 and 5C and 5S phones.
I know. I could really, if I could get a refund on some apps, that would be fantastic. I also like the idea that if I'm needing to do something that's more complex, I can use another app. It's called the Photo Transfer app. Very unique name there. But what that lets me do is it lets me take those video clips off of here, and by connecting to Wi-Fi, I can transfer those to another device, whether that's an iPad, whether that is a laptop, a desktop computer, whatever I'm using at the moment. I can send that content back, or I can send that back to somebody else that's needing to work on it at the same time. So good multitasking options.
Another way to improve quality with your phone, like we mentioned before, is quality audio. Using a lav, I mentioned I pay, I think, $18 for a lav that I can plug into the headphone jack on the phone. Did I say it's $18? It's 18 feet as well. So I can stand back and still get quality audio from the person that I'm interviewing. Another gadget, see, like this one, especially back, it's not only available for the 4 and 4S, but it was from Fostex. It was a device that let you use, it had a handle on it for stability. The cool thing about it is that it had a handle on it for stability. The not cool thing about it was that time that we were presenting somewhere and I got, let's just say, frisked by the TSA for having something that looked like, oh, I don't know, a bomb maybe. Either way, we had to do an impromptu presentation. That was fun. But this device had 2 directional mics to let you determine where you want to pick up the sound. So you could actually have a mic on the interviewer, mic on the interviewee, and go back and forth asking questions. It also had a cold shoe on it, so if you needed to add, a light, like we mentioned earlier, you can do things like that.
I really liked using that one at our Coliseum because for basketball games, we are a very big basketball school, and so you could get that place packed and create all kinds of echoes and strange noises that make it very hard for other teams to play. But when you would adjust those directional mics on there, you could really get some great audio and fantastic audio with some greens and golds going back and forth. So it's a fun little device out there.
Another one would be, if you want to sort of take the minimalistic approach, look at the Glyph, G-L-I-F. It was an original, one of the early Kickstarter projects that I bought into years ago. It gives you very basic but necessary features. You can connect it to a tripod, you can prop up the phone, it just adds a little more stability for you, and it's inexpensive.
If you're wanting to do more complex shooting, the Smart Focus is all about it.
Smart Focus, you're right. The Smart Focus is a product that actually started back, well, whenever the iPhone 3S came out. It was a different name. It was made out of metal and really heavy. Since it's been tweaked, it's made out of a hard plastic called the Smart Focus, smartfocus.com, not to necessarily promote them, but check them out. It's a product that lets you, it has what, you can put it on a tripod, it has several tripod mounts, it has a cold shoe, so you can attach various gadgets. Different lenses that you can put on your phone as well. Let's see what else can you do with it.
It's got the microphone, you can purchase.
That's right, that's right. Gives you more stability, kind of like playing a video game or something. You can use both hands and you get a lot of stability.
So, all these devices, they're kitschy, they're fun, but if you think about it, they actually really do serve a purpose to let you take this phone that's just got a really great camera on it and make it into something a little bit more. So if you don't have the money to sink into that pro level camera, you can purchase the phone or an iPod, several apps, purchase some of these gadgets, and what do you think, $500? Mm-hmm. I mean, about $500 you could get something that can do a lot, that can attach to a mic, that can attach to lights, that you can get stable, put it on a tripod. If you don't have several thousands, then $500 might be an easier sell.
Yeah, it's a good way to get it. And if you're familiar with video or know the basics and can produce quality work with something like the phone, then that can give you the leverage you need in your institution to, next time funding comes around and becomes available, to try to get more money and buy newer equipment and make better equipment.
I use a lot of times at graduation, Time Out for Tech, several events that we have on campus. This is just what I go with. The other thing about it there is that because this is small and everybody has one, it allows me to kind of blend in, and so I get a little bit different shot than I would get if I showed up with a big camera and big lights, because I'm inconspicuous.
Right, you're always going to have your phone with you. If you're not out there, you're lying, because you're going to have it with you.
Sleep with mine.
whatever. Okay, the next important part of video on a budget is people. That's right. You know, C and I both have additional duties as assigned, as we like to call them. We don't just get to do video. I actually handle the university's website and social media during the day. To help us push out video, we both turn to the foundation of any institution, and that would be students. We've asked 2 students and a friend. Actually, scratched that the friend of ours couldn't make it, so we asked 2 students, and we've lost a friend. And so, the friend would have been great if she could have been here, but she had other homecoming week. I think that's the excuse that we heard. She's out of the will.
All right, so before we get to the questions, let's let everybody kind of introduce themselves. Josh, I'm going to toss it over to you. Tell us your background, education, all of that.
Hi, Carrie. Well, my name is Josh Kelley, and I am in my first semester of graduate school at Arkansas Tech. I recently graduated back in May with my undergrad in broadcast journalism. And from then, I started working in university relations. And once I graduated, that kind of bled over into, which is now a graduate assistantship at university relations. So here I am.
Awesome. Thanks for being here tonight.
It's no problem.
Hey, Alyssa, are you there?
I'm here.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Alyssa Levenberg. I'm a sophomore at SUNY Oswego in Oswego, New York. I'm a student blogger, so I have my own vlog series where I give advice to incoming freshmen and transfer students that come to Oswego and talk about college experiences, whether they're just at college in general or just Oswego, and it's called Alyssa Explains It All.
Are you going to get t-shirts done?
I actually said that. I said we should put a slogan or something on a shirt.
We want one.
We want one, that's right.
Yeah,
oh, okay, yeah.
Very cool.
So what are the goals behind what are the goals that you've set behind the video content that you create? Alyssa.
Basically just letting my audience, freshmen and incoming students, know about college and have a head start before they start going to college, because when I was applying to colleges I didn't really know anything about college at all, and this was kind of a step up to that.
Okay, Josh, tell us about you. What are some of those goals behind the content that you're creating?
Well, it all really depends on the kind of project we're working on. For instance, we do a segment called Familiar Faces, where we interview students and faculty from around the campus. And I guess the goal behind that would be maybe to take that person, and especially the faculty members, I'm in charge of the faculty ones. It takes them from in front of the classroom, and it sets down on a candid interview with them and makes them a real person. They're not just a talking head. And let's say we do the across campus, where we find real students that have real answers, and a lot of times those real answers are quite entertaining. And I mean, it just really makes it have a real down-home kind of feel to it.
Very cool. Josh, let's throw this one back to you too. What is probably the one project that you've had to work on that you've enjoyed the most?
That's a tough question. I think it might have to be the freshman how-to videos. We did a series of videos where they just had simple things that maybe upperclassmen took for granted, such as where to get your parking tag, where to pay your bills and student accounts. But freshmen could be just totally confused by that. So we created different scenarios into teaching them how to do this. I mean, the classes that use this usually they'll tell them this, but when you put a visual behind it, it really makes it engaging with them.
Yeah. Alyssa, what about you? What's probably that favorite project that you've gotten to do?
I've just been doing the blog, but my favorite video that I've made so far is the one where I compare college shown in movies versus reality college. So I compared movies that you would see just college students, and it's focusing on the partying stuff, which is not really part of all of college, and compared to what reality really is. It's one of my favorites.
I like that. Hey Josh, let's grab that idea.
Gotcha.
All right, So, you guys both are part of official university departments. You're representing the university. And so how do you balance that real message versus that very, marketing spin that there's a lot of push to have? Alyssa, you go first.
I feel like you just have to be yourself, because that an actor, like every time I make a video, that's who I am. So I don't think that you should have this image like not like a tour guide, but kind of like, oh, this is the school, this is what you should do. But more of like, because it's my real experiences, I want to say what I want to say and what the message should be out there. Like I'm just a real student.
And is your
Quote.
Right? Is your department really supportive of that message being real?
Yeah, they I've gotten like messages and comments about it, and then they like it. So it's real communication.
Very cool. Josh, talk about that same kind of concept. How do you balance that?
Well, I mean, we always try to maintain like that, I guess, the professional look, to maintain that Arkansas Tech brand, whether it's professional lighting and graphics and everything like that. But then you still want to get, like I mentioned earlier, like the realness of the small town university. Like for instance, we have those students that we interview. Those are real students. They're not actors. It's not scripted. They are real students that came to Arkansas Tech. And so we want to keep that in mind.
All right, so as you worked on video projects, I'm assuming you learned more about the craft you're pursuing. Talk some about what you've learned and how working in the communications department can be a win-win both for you and the college. Yeah.
From the university standpoint, I mean, they're getting content pushed out, whether it's on the YouTube pages or through the different departments. They're getting, what they want. And I guess from my standpoint, I get so much practice put in, whether it's dealing with cameras or dealing with editing software. I've been here since January, and I can't tell you how much I've learned and trying to get better at that craft.
So you're building your resume while you're in school.
I'm trying.
Excellent. Anything you want to add, Alyssa?
That's pretty much the same thing with me. It's just that like I'm learning more about how to present myself, and learning more about like getting better, having more experience with it, and hopefully that will help me later on in life after college. And the department really likes it because it's just another way to show not just like advice, but also what students can do at the college. It's another presentable way to show what the college can do for you.
Very nice. I'll open this one up. If somebody's thinking, somebody that's watching tonight is thinking about adding that video element or that video component to their efforts, is it worth it? Why is it worth considering? Jump in, whoever wants to.
It's just a way to show that there isn't just that there's students here who like to do what they do, I guess, in a way. Like they show that more of different things. Like I do this type of video blogs, and there's other type of blogs at Oswego too. One person last year did a bucket list for his senior year. It just shows like there's a lot more things to do besides just going to class and applying for what you want to do. It just opens up a more wider range.
That was our friend Mr. Brown, right? On the bucket list.
I think that's right.
Yeah. What are your next plans? I mean, what is next for you? So you're doing this now, but then you're out of school. How are you going to take what you're doing now and kind of continue that into a career?
I don't know what I want to do with my life, but seeing myself, I want to do something with video or social media kind of thing, whether it's like public relations or just like communications at a company. I know a lot of places that are now trying to put YouTube and like videos as helping, so maybe I'll be that first person there to do that. But I like talking to a camera. Is that bad?
No. We've actually never met a camera we didn't like, so
yeah.
Totally understand.
They're very nice.
That's right. Josh, what do you want to do when you grow up?
I'm pretty much just going to go where the wind takes me. I mean, I definitely want to work with cameras.
Actually, Josh, you're going to go wherever Southwest takes you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Gotta plug that in there.
That's right.
I mean, I definitely want to work with video and cameras, whether that's, you know, for an agency or maybe higher ed or maybe even more of like an artistic route like filmmaking or something. I definitely want to keep that visual imagery in my future.
All right. This is where I get to say thank y'all for taking the time out of your evening to talk to us here at higheredlive.com. I personally appreciate both of you for coming. I know C does too. Alyssa, thank you for doing what you do. Like I said before we started, we've used your videos as examples of great things that you can do in some of our presentations. So thank you. Great to meet you sort of in real life.
If you do T-shirts, we want one.
We do want T-shirts.
Okay, I'll tell Tim that.
There we go.
Thank you.
Let's see. What are we going to talk about next, Steve?
Josh, seriously, thank you too. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Are we on to the third part of the show?
Let's do the third part.
Okay.
Part 3 this evening, we're going to talk about, success stories?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk a little bit about the success that we've experienced with video, what worked, lessons learned, and things like that.
If you have any success stories, feel free to jump in on Twitter and let us know that, and hopefully we can get some great conversation going while we're there.
Tweets, y'all, tweets, come on.
No doubt. Okay.
Waiting on tweets. No, seriously, what are we going to do?
Let's do it.
What do you want to do?
You want to do yours first?
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
What are we talking about?
Let's do thank you video.
The thank you video? All right, we're going to talk about how the thank you came about.
We can do that and then show it.
You want to show it? You want to show it? Let's show it first.
Let's show it?
Let's show it first.
Let's cross our fingers this works. So here we go, y'all.
I'm going to make a difference by going into the television industry. I'm a broadcast journalism major, so I hope to become the next TJ Holmes one day.
I want to make a difference by having a career where I can build and grow in public accounting or private accounting.
After I graduate, I hope to work for a newspaper or magazine as a reporter. I will be the first to graduate in my whole family. I don't think there are many Hispanics in the journalism field, so I hope to make a difference in that way. The Wilcox Journalism Scholarship is helping me financially because I'm the oldest from a family of 7, and my dad is the only one that works. So it's helping them as well because they're the ones who pay for my tuition. It's also helping me be less stressed about the expenses that I have and focus. It enables me to focus more on my studies.
The John L.B. Hunt Scholarship is helping me by providing me the ability to graduate with my undergrad in accounting where I might not have had the financial means otherwise.
And being as a non-traditional student, working full-time and going to school full-time is very hard, and receiving the STEL scholarship is alleviating some of the stress that I would normally have to worry about.
You're making a difference by helping hardworking students who need a little extra help to get through their degree. It's nice to know that I've worked really hard and that there's somebody out there who doesn't even know me who's willing to help me.
I had been helping out in church at a church event, and I was really exhausted, and I came home and all I wanted to do was sleep. But then I saw the scholarship and I knew it was a reward for all my effort, and I was really happy. I was very, very excited and very thankful, most of all.
My supervisor told me, she was like, Reggie, you need to apply for the scholarship. You know, it's money that can help you. And I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. And when I received the email, I was in disbelief, shocked, and grateful at the same time.
You're making a difference by helping students fulfill their dreams.
Thank you for making a difference.
Thank you for making a difference.
What you saw there was an example of a really simple thank you. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that one of the things I love to do is try to knock down silos within higher education, and at the same time try to create content that, what I'm trying to say, create content that can be reused in multiple places, in multiple silos, if you will. And so with this video, the idea was just, like I said, a simple thank you. It was for one specific event, scripted, put together. The key to that, I think, with this particular video was the young lady in it. She was actually in a class that I teach, and randomly after class one day asked, "Hey, has anyone ever received a foundation scholarship?" Her eyes lit up. She got all excited, and she was, and I was like, "Please stop. Don't say any more. Let me get a candle." And so we tried to capture what she was saying and her excitement of receiving a foundation scholarship. But it's a piece that is quite simple, but can be reused in multiple sources in multiple areas. And I think for me, and what I like to put together, that's the key for a video.
Very, very cool. And they've been able to repurpose that a couple times, right? All right, are we going to do the second one?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed again. All right, I'm going to start playing. This one is a video that we put together at Arkansas Tech. We've had 15 years of record enrollment, and so we're literally busting at the seams. We were about 4,000 15 years ago. We're now over 11,000 students, so huge, huge, huge record growth. But what that's meant for us is that every classroom space is utilized consistently, and also every single bed that we have on campus is completely full. We have 3,889 beds on campus, and every single one of them has a body in them every night that's living there. And so because of that, we don't have the opportunity to have those mock rooms or those stage rooms set up for folks to see what a residence hall looks like when they're considering on our campus. We only do 2 special tours a year where folks can get into the residence halls and see those. So we realized really quickly when that policy was enacted that there was going to be a need to provide that video content. And so what we did is we sat down and we got into every single residence hall, and we put together a video that showed the room, what the room looked like, what the common spaces looked like, what the kitchens looked like, what the restrooms looked like, to really give students the chance to see what it was like, to see if they could envision themselves there. Because we felt like a video took it one step further than a picture. We felt like at that point it made it very real. And, you know, we have had folks from all over the world looking at those videos. They're some of our most popular videos. We hosted Family Day this past weekend, and we had folks on Family Day, you know, wanting to get into those residence halls and, you know, being able to push them to those videos. And they've been a very big success because it was meeting a need. And that's what makes a successful video to some extent, is if there's a need for that content and there's a need for that information, then that video is naturally going to be successful.
Is the last one we're going to talk about, sound off, right? Okay. The idea is something we do called sound off, and it kind of goes back to what Alyssa was doing in that we talked with our students, our student workers, and asked them what they would be interested in doing. The thing is, you know, we can push tasks, if you will, our students and have them push out the videos for us, but sometimes we need to take a break. And it's a creative process for a student. It's a learning experience. Give them the option to do something they're interested in. And for sound off, it's really the idea of just taking a mic and a camera with a few questions related around some current event. We talked about Affleck as Batman. There was one for Valentine's Day. And it's just the students, it's sort of their creative moment. They get to go out on campus. And the thing we've noticed with it is, you know, we may have some administrators that don't like it because it's a go-off. It's not that typical marketing message that, you know, we're used to seeing. It's all perfect and round and shiny. But the views continue to grow every time we push an episode out. and it's coming from students on campus. They're used to seeing the camera now. They flock to the camera, want to answer whatever questions are happening. So it's been a great experience, I think, for our students, and it gets them excited when they push this out every week. So it's been fun.
Very, very cool.
Well, I've kind of already implemented my big plan. I got her a puppy. I got us a puppy, I guess you could call it. And so now we're taking care of that. I guess, I don't know if I'm going to tell her that's her Valentine's Day gift or not. I might want to get her something a little extra so she doesn't get really mad at me. And she's also going to be really nice to me and treat me to some chicken spaghetti.
We're going to go out to eat and maybe exchange a couple gifts.
Buy myself some candy,
pleasure myself with some outfits, maybe take my parents out to dinner because they're my Valentines,
Yeah, we're going to the dance at the Grove that the Grove is hosting.
So we're just gonna chill and just kind of watch movies and, just sit and eat dinner together. We're not really doing crazy.
I have a date with myself in front of a mirror with some chocolate. That's what I'm doing.
I guess it kind of depends. I mean, some people think it's for romance, and some people think it's a rip-off. It kind of depends, I guess, if you're in a relationship or not, so.
Rip-off.
Rip-off.
I'm gonna put it like this. It could be a romantic thing and it could be a rip-off because they could use the romance just so they can get what they want, which would be considered a rip-off.
It's romance, of course.
Oh, I'm going to go with romance because my girlfriend will get mad if I don't.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Depends. As for me, I would say rip off because me and my boyfriend just broke up.
But no, it is what it is. It's hard out here for a pimp.
It's a rip off.
One of the successes that I've had is a behind-the-scenes piece that we do at graduation. We literally set up backstage at graduation because families can't get back there, so it's just us and the students, and so we've got a good hour and a half block of time that we can interact with them and have a good conversation before commencement starts. And so what we do is we give all of those students the opportunity to say thank you to someone that's helped them along the way, whether that was a teacher, whether that was a friend, whether that was made an impact in their lives. And so we literally turn those students loose and let them, tell us their stories. I think probably my favorite story is that we had one, and I got there, at the usual time, and probably quite a bit earlier. Getting there was, and she was waiting on me. Are you the video girl? Well, yes, I am. Okay, I'm ready. And so as we were talking, she gave this wonderfully, beautifully eloquent, you could tell she spent a lot of time on it. And at the end I asked her, I said, what are you, this seems very important to you. And she looked at me and she said, well, my husband is stationed overseas right now fighting for our country. And so I wanted him to know that on this really special day of mine that I was thinking about him.
I'd like to say thanks to my family and my professors for just getting me through these 2 years. And it's just been an honor and a blessing.
I'll say thanks to my husband for always sticking by me and allowing me to accomplish this.
I want to say thank you to my husband Josh for sticking by me and getting me through these years.
I want to say thanks to my entire family and to all the instructors here. These guys were awesome and extremely patient also in my endeavors, and I thank everybody.
And I'd like to say thank you to my wife for supporting me, and thank you to Dr. Black, Dr. Dykem, and Dr. Roberts, who were very supportive.
I wanted to say thank you to Mrs. Dixon, my professor on the school counseling and leadership, my husband, and my family.
I'd like to say thanks to my parents and my family for being so supportive.
Dr. Melinda Wilkins, who is the chair in Allied Health, who has helped me through this whole process, and then my close family members.
My husband. He has supported me to no end through this education.
I just would like to say thanks to all my friends and family, but I especially want to say thanks to my mom, Carrie Phillips, and my best friend Jenna, because without them, I wouldn't have made it all the way here.
My family, all my friends, my coaches, all my mentors throughout the years, just for helping me, pushing me this far, and God most definitely.
I would just like to thank my family, friends, I work in the Office of Admissions, my admissions staff, and just thank the staff also and faculty in the CSP department.
For my parents, because like they support me like financially, and for my friends, like they're in Japan, they're in the United States, and like every time that I had a problem, like I asked them for advice, and like they could give me like really good advice.
I want to say thank you to all the CSP faculty and staff. They really helped me out. Dr. Susan for helping me pass my comps, my parents, my husband, and my daughter Emma.
So I would like to thank God because I would not be here without him. Also all my family and my friends. My two very best friends are graduating with me today as well, Caitlin Bradford and Burl Langdon. We made it for the past 2 years, so I really appreciate them.
Everybody good? All right. That wraps up our show tonight. I want to thank Josh and Alyssa for joining us. Do really appreciate you for taking the time. We hope you join us next week or next Thursday night right here on Higher Ed Live. We will have Logan Bishop talking Neon Tank Flat Ren with Joshua Walovich.
All right. Have a great evening, guys. Thanks for watching.
See ya. Thank you.
See ya.